Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Angelic Alchemy Meenakshi, and I am a seer or spiritual alchemist and a channel to the divine. I'm also a practitioner of Angelic Alchemy Hypnosis, Past Life Regressions, Angelic Alchemy Reiki, Akashic Records reading, as well as a spiritual mentor. You can find more about me on my website, angelicalchemyholistichealing.com. So that was a quick introduction. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to bring forth some messages which were just coming in so strongly starting from the 1122 portal up till now. And there's just been such an influx of messages that came through the divine, through ancestors, and there's been a lot of work going on in the background as well. So I wanted to take a moment to share these messages with you. So let's get started. Before I go into, the messages themselves, I just wanted to quickly share an update on the 1122 portal that just went by last week. And I honestly didn't realize we were in the portal till I started feeling the energies. It was a very powerful day, very activating. We had the most beautiful healings that day, and we could just feel these energies just flowing through. And I was wondering what was going on. And I just looked at the date. It was 1122. And there we go. That's the reason. So looking at the number 1122, as per numerology, number 11 is the most intuitive of all numbers. So anyone that is a number 11 in their charts, born on the day, or have 11 as a significant number in their birth dates charts, they're masters of intuition. So it is a very powerful intuitive number. It is a number of illumination, a master philosopher. It provides inner wisdom, and it is the most intuitive of all numbers. And it's a very powerful date for us to hold as an experience as a collective. The whole month has been as such. And added to it, number 22, which is number 22 within numerology, is a builder number. It makes dreams come to reality, and it helps us bring our visions into creation. So 11 and 22 together, we dipped into the energies of our intuition. It is a powerful portal day, seeking the philosopher within us, therefore going within us to bring the philosophy and the knowledge and the wisdom that we have within our souls. And number 22, being a builder number, helped us bring all our imaginations, all our dreams, everything that we had planned and we were trying to manifest into a powerful creational force energy, bringing it into tangible reality, into existence. And we are now experiencing that. And if you combine 11 and 22 together, it becomes number 33, which is, again, a very powerful number. Number 33 is the number of most of the Christ consciousness beings. It is a number that stands for the teacher within, the master teacher. And therefore, it helps us to seek that wisdom within. It helps us go within to seek the guru within us, and to seek that philosophy and that wisdom within us, that intuition within us, 11, 22, and 33 together, and bring it out and communicate it and put it into action in creating our realities that we were so far trying to manifest. Now they are coming into reality. We've stepped into that beautiful realm. So 11, 22, 33, that's how it leads into the current state that we are in, and therefore you would have felt very powerful energies flowing through 1122. And as we went through these energies, the other thing that was stepping in was the fact that we are coming towards the end of this calendar year. We are aware that there are various ancient, beautiful calendars that we used to follow in our ancient races. And as per that, there are different timings. However, looking at the current calendar that we are in, we are coming towards the end of this year. Now think of all the events that have gone by this year. It's been a year of transformation, a catalyst year, activator of our hearts because of the events that occurred. It tugged at our heart, and it made us look deep within to see what is most important, what is a high perspective, to things, to events. Sometimes we get involved in petty things in our life, and the events that happened this year really shook us up individually and as a collective and said, hey, you need to sit up and you need to listen. You need to sit up and you need to be cognizant of what is happening in your surroundings and what can you, as this beautiful star being, light worker, healer, activator, coder, catalyst, whatever you are here as an archetype, what is your role in it? So it was a very, very catalyst year this year. And as we're going through those events, they are still occurring in our timelines. However, we are now about to take that master leap, the quantum leap into the next year. So what are we going to do at this point? Okay. Now, when we're coming out of a phase and we are about to create the next phase that we are going to go into, we tend to go into this timeline or this time and space where of introspection. That's in between time where you're still attached a little bit to the older timeline and what is going on, and you're about to take that leap into the next timeline of what you have created for yourself and what we have created as a collective, because we are individuals, but our individuality gets linked to the higher consciousness, the collective consciousness of Earth, and then in turn the collective consciousness of our universe. So as we go into that time, sometimes that in-between stage where we are introspecting and wondering what to do next, it can feel like a state of limbo sometimes. Sometimes it can give people an impression or make people believe that they are stuck or that they are stagnant in their spiritual efforts, in their spiritual rituals, or whatever they're trying to manifest and create for themselves. What the angels and my guides were calling it really was the rebirth chambers. They said you are in the rebirth chambers. That's what it is. You are in the womb right now, in the healing space of the womb, because you've gone into the resting phase as a fetus, because now you are beginning to create what is coming up next for you as you're coming out of this stage. The groundwork has been done, the blueprint of the template of what you're about to create and step into. You've already created it. You're stepping into it, has already been done with the 1122 portal that just came by and all of the events that happened. So what do we do in this time and space when we feel that we are stuck? We feel it. It may not be that. So you need to look within to see, are you really stuck? Are you really stagnant? Or there's a lot that's shifting within you as you're going through this stage. So one of the most important messages that was coming to me was, especially in the last 10 days, it became really powerful, was I realized from the 1111 portal to 1122, and it is still continuing to be so, the ancestors have come through with such powerful, beautiful, activating messages. And yes, while many of us went into this hermit stage of going within and disconnecting with the social groups or disconnecting with family groups or friend circles, because we wanted to go within and really connect with the soul within to find that wisdom, that find that philosopher, find that seer, to find that teacher within to guide ourselves and therefore others that are meant to be with us on our path. As we did that, we withdrew from a lot, and the ancestors came in to remind us that it is now time to also connect back. If you are done with the introspection and that stage, they are here to remind us of a very important element of our spiritual awakening, of our spiritual path, of our existence, of our cycle of life. And that is connecting with the inner child, connecting with the innocence, return to the innocence. And it was really beautiful because last night, when I was thinking of these messages coming through, the song Return to the Innocence kept playing in my mind. And it's a beautiful song from the 90s. I remember when it used to play on MTV, it was one of my most favorite songs in those days. It's by a group called Enigma. They're German. It's a German group called Enigma. And it's a beautiful song. It talks about, if you go back and watch the videos, I'm sure people who've seen it would know. It starts with an old man, and he's reached the prime of his age. He's about to, he's reached that threshold where he's most probably going to, pass over. And then he just lays back, and then he goes back and back and back into his timeline to his birth stage. And then they show, everything going back in time. So they show like fruits on the ground that have fallen from the tree going back into the tree, and the tree going back into younger, and then to being a sapling, everything going back into its seed point. It's a very, very powerful song. It's a very, very powerful message. Even in those days when I was a teenager, it activated my heart, and it really touched my heart. Basically for two reasons. One, I was just taken in by the fact that this old man was going back, journeying back into his innocence to when he was a child, connecting with his inner child and everything that he had learned as a child. That really touched my heart. And second was the tune, the chant that was playing in the song, which apparently was a song. It's a native Taiwanese song sung by native elders of the Taiwanese race. And I'll give a link to the original chants of that song. It is absolutely beautiful, sung by this beautiful Taiwanese native indigenous couple, and it activates your heart so much. It's going to make you cry. And so Enigma actually picked up that tune and they put it in the song. So there was some controversy there, but that's such a beautiful song overall. And the video of it really explains the circle of life. And that is what the angels kept playing that song yesterday. So I went back to listening to that song, and I knew exactly, how the message was to be shared today. And so we are being urged now to return back, if you're in that stage, and even otherwise, whenever you feel like, whenever you get called to, return back to innocence, return back to that seed point, to when you were a child. For me, how it happened was from 11:11 to 11:22, and it's continuing to be my beautiful ancestors connected with me through the angels, because I'm very particular about how I connect and receive my messages. So it was really beautiful because they connected with the archangels and my beautiful guides, the Christ consciousness, Divine Mother, Divine Father, and they came in my dreams and in my meditations. They took me back to my childhood, back to ancestral homes of grandparents, and what life was like in those days. So simple, so beautiful, and the kind of games we played and the bond we had with our grandparents before they passed away. And some of them are still here, and the purity of that bond, the love. I understand that for many people that may not have been the case. However, if that was so, it is a beautiful time for you to return back to that seed point, because if you went through a lot of traumatic events and happenings in your childhood, and you did not receive the kind of love that you were meant to receive as a child, now the wiser you that has gone through all of these experiences is able to do two main things. Number one, go back, connect with your ancestors, and you are most likely meant to heal that within your lineage. You're most likely meant to heal that for your ancestors who didn't know any better if they did not give you the love that you were meant to receive as a child. So go back and connect with them, connect with their energy, because forgiveness is the biggest healer. And as you start forgiving them and you go back, just like in that song, going back to see where is it that it started from, within your family lineage, that there's a cutoff from the heart connection where the parental love or, the grandparents' ancestral love was not pouring in to the family lineage, into the children. And you start healing that from there, removing whatever caused that. And you can also seek help of your ancestors because they are connected most likely with the angels. Number one, you can help with the help of the archangels, Divine Mother, Divine Father, always seeking help, because you just want to make sure that when you're helping people souls transition over, that they are going from here and they're holding the hands of Divine Mother, Divine Father, making sure that they cross over in safety. You can help them cross over if they're still stuck. And then you can connect with the inner child you. Start healing that inner child you and show that child, hey, look at me. We turned out to be well, and everything that you're experiencing, all your gifts, everything that is troubling you right now is going to be your biggest strength. It is showing you who you are. And so that's how it is. And I was seeing my childhood home, ancestral home, grandparents' home in meditation, and I could literally smell their clothes in my meditation. They literally opened, the cupboards where their clothes used to be. And I could just smell them. I could smell their energy. I could smell their love. I could feel their love so deeply. It was as if I was literally transported to those times. And boy, did I miss them. It was really beautiful. It was a beautiful connection. And they stepped forth in gratitude to thank us for all the work that we're doing for ourselves and for our lineages and for healing. And then I realized that there were still some loose ends to tie. So you can go back and check as well. Are there any loose ends to tie for your ancestral lineage, for your DNA healing, for your children? Because this is all, linked. There's another video that I'm going to link, which is I'd shared a video on ancestral healing and healing your children and how it is a cycle of life that needs to be healed for us all to be on the highest, most beautiful timeline. And I'll put a link to that video if you want to watch it. It's a very detailed video on ancestral healing and children's healing. So that's what they were showing me, going back to those timelines, connecting back to what I enjoyed as a child the most. And I was able to tap back into my innate abilities and what made me happy, what ticked me off, what triggered me. And really all of those experiences, all the answers of what I am today were right there. They were staring in my face. They were all around me, but I just didn't recognize it then. I was too young to recognize it. And even through the teenage years, we forget, with the programming, and we forget who we are sometimes with the programming. And the ancestors were here to remind me and, take me through that journey to say, it was always right there. You were always meant to do what you're doing. Look at what you did as a child. Look at how you felt as a child. Look at how your heart felt as a child. Look at how connected we were with you when you were a child. And that's what they were here to show. So go back once again in this stage, in this timeline that you are in, connect with your beautiful ancestors and with your inner child, and heal the ancestors and heal your inner child. Bring your inner child forth if it is still stuck anywhere in those dimensions and those timelines, and show them what you've got, show them who you've become. And that'll really, also shift timelines of how you felt as a child. The other important message that the ancestors and my beautiful guides were giving me was, and for the collective as well, when you're in a state of introspection of what comes next for me, what did I create? Because you've already created it. They kept saying, go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. Go back to simplicity. And that's exactly what going back to your childhood, to your lineage is. It shows you what your ancestral lineage is about, either what was needed to be healed within it, and that's why you were born into the family. That's why perhaps you're the only one that feels all those energies so much, so heightened, and the only child in your family that would get triggered or fall sick often, because you could feel all of those energies around you that you were meant to heal as a healer and as an activator that you are. And so now the ancestors are saying, you've already done so much, or, and maybe there's still a little bit left, some loose ends to tie. So you can go ahead and tie that and take care of that and really go back to the basics of who you were. And so when we talk about this, one is returning back to the basics of your childhood, inner child, what worked for you, what are your strengths, what do you need to heal, and weaving that into the timelines that you are in now. Because when you go back to your childhood, through your teen years, your 20s, what happened for you, there would have been many messages that were given to you that you may not have understood or interpreted in the right way because you weren't meant to, or you weren't ready to at that point. Okay, it's happened with me for sure. So when I went back and I re-listened, I read my meditations, I remembered my dreams that I was given then. It all made sense. And there were so many messages that I had just left because I didn't understand. There were so many prophecies that happened, so many prophetic dreams that I had that didn't make sense then, but that tie into my current timelines. So go ahead and take a look at yours as well. Open up that dream diary and those meditation messages. And they were all making sense now. It's like everything was planned and all the timelines are planned. And yes, we're making them, we are creating them, but the various permutation combinations of them are already ready. Like, if you choose this, this is what's going to happen. If you choose that, that's what's going to happen. And it was really beautiful, powerful, like one of the most powerful events that I've experienced since my spiritual awakening was this year, April of this year, stepping into my own power, stepping into my own strengths, believing in myself, and tapping into the guru within myself. And I'm giving my own example just in case it helps you to tap into yours as well. And so as you're doing that, also remembering when we say go back to the basics, go back to the simplicity, where you're tapping back into the inner child, going to your ancestors. Now, how about the spirituality angle of it? When you're in this phase and you're wondering what comes next, I'm done with this, I'm done. These messages are done, the lessons are done. Now what? What do we do? We're dwindling our thumbs, what do we do now? What's next? So again, within spirituality as well, go back to the basics. Go back to where you started from, the seed point. Go back to that first point of that spark that lit your soul. Go back to that point that told you or showed you what you were here to do. And before everything else happened, the spiritual world, the communities, the words we use, the formats, the rituals, the healing methods, everything that we've been taught, everything that came along, that you learned from, everyone around you, your beautiful friends, your spiritual community, teachers, beautiful teachers. We should be grateful for every single teacher that crosses our path, and know that it's not just, teachers that you formally enroll with, but be grateful for them. Yes, every single one of them, with so much love in your heart for all the lessons they've taught you, but also for all the other people that are crossing your path, because every single person, your clients, your friends on Facebook, anyone that's commenting on, sharing anything, each and every one of them is teaching us, because teaching is a two-way process. The teacher teaches, the student understands, and the student asks a question, and the teacher thinks, and the teacher is learning again. So the student is teaching the teacher. So there can never be one person over another. It's always a two-way link, actually multi-link. There's no number to it, because it's infinity. So go back to the basic of when you just started waking up, the simplicity of it, the childlike enthusiasm that you had when you received your first vision as a clairvoyant, when you received your first message as a clairaudient, when you first touched base with your guides, when they showed up. What did it feel like? What were the messages you received then? Because chances are that you haven't really, you may or may not have worked on every single one of them. You may or may not have understood the significance of them, or the level of significance of them. So in this time period, this phase, the 11-22, 11-11, 11-22, going into the 12-12 and into the rebirth energies of January 2024, we can use this time to return to our innocence, to go back to our childhood, to go back to that seed point, to go back to basics of where we came from, where our mothers taught us, where our grandmothers taught us, where Divine Mother taught us. What were the messages that they gave us, and the love and the kindness that they taught us? Never to forget that. For me, there were a lot of messages, a lot of direct messages from Source, a lot of direct messages from the archangels, from Earth, from Mother Earth, that came forth, which I wrote down, and I said, yes, it's beautiful and feels good, wonderful message. Let's move forward. Let's keep working. But now that message has a powerful significance that I didn't tap into. And that has weaved the way into what has been created now, into what you are creating now, into what you will be creating, into what you're birthing as a new timelines. Because that is what we are doing as we come out of this phase into the changes. Once we've learned all the lessons, tap back into the basics, received all the messages that we might have missed. Remember, read in between the lines. So we've got to do that. We've got to go back and read in between the lines, all those messages that we missed, because every single message is significant and relevant. They are all golden nuggets. And as we do that, we are rewriting our timelines. We have the opportunity to rewrite our timelines and to create even more benevolently, divinely, even with more beautiful strength, with more beauty in our strength, with more grace, with more wisdom, activating the philosopher, the teacher, the intuition, the intuitive within you. You create the most powerful timelines, most benevolent timelines for yourself. And let's do that for the collective. Our collective needs us as much as we need our collective. And once you've rewritten those timelines for ourselves, helping the collective to write it for the collective consciousness, we take a deep breath. we step into them. Because we need that peace, that hope, and that strength. Our collective needs that hope, that peace, and that strength. We are there. We are there now. We are there in those timelines. I hope that these messages help you all to connect back with whomsoever you are meant to connect with divinely, benevolently, and heal yourself, and then also work in service to others, because that's what we came here to do, to work in service to others. But we cannot be in service to others until we heal ourselves, until we bring ourselves into that alignment, into balance, into what we came here to do, into clarity, into love, into peace, into hope, into harmony. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. I hope that these messages help you as well. And I send you so much love, infinite source love and blessings to each one of you, and to the entire collective consciousness of Earth and to this beautiful universe, all through source, all through source, all through source. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you all.